Welcome to StorySpin. I'm Rory, and apparently this is what I do with my free time now. If you've ever wondered how messy people's relationships really get, you're in the right place. Let's dive in, because trust me, it's worse than you think. Nothing like a little unsolicited paternity test to really set the mood in a marriage. But hey, when the results come back wrong, the real drama starts. Let's dive in. This story comes from the relationship sub. I don't know how it happened, and I haven't been able to stop crying all day. I never cheated. I love my husband. We've been together since college, and he's the love of my life. He's handsome and kind. While I've slept with 2 other people, both were long before we got together. There is no other potential father for our daughter. We were married already, and we were actively trying for a baby. I never cheated. I never would cheat. And I don't know why he took that stupid test, because I would never, ever cheat. But it came back negative, and now he thinks he's not her dad. I don't know how to convince him it was a faulty test, and I'm so scared. These past few months, it's like he's become someone completely different than the man I married. He's cold and suspicious. He kept demanding to see my phone and wouldn't tell me why. I showed him at first, but eventually told him I wouldn't anymore, unless he explained why. He's been distant with our daughter too. He stays in his office for hours on end, and I don't know what he's doing. I did not cheat. He accused me this morning, saying he'd done the test after realizing that our daughter's eyes, brown, wouldn't naturally come from ours, both blue. And then he told me he wanted me to leave the house. I didn't leave, but he locked me out of our bedroom. Now I'm in my daughter's room. This is terrifying. What should I do? Edit. The specific advice I want is how I can prove I'm innocent and how to make sure this relationship works. I want to keep my family together, no matter what. Also, I just had a conversation with my husband. He's out of his room now, and we discussed some things. I told him again that I would never cheat, and started talking about a list I made of tests I want done. But he told me he didn't want to hear it right now. We're going to have a longer conversation tomorrow. He said that he still loves our daughter, and that he won't try to keep me out of the house or our room, for now. I asked him to hug me, and he did. I'm scared that I won't be able to convince him. I just want our family to go back to normal. How can I be a good wife and support his needs while proving my innocence? TLDR. My husband confronted me this morning, saying our daughter isn't biologically his after a failed paternity test. But I never cheated. Here's what some of the comments had to say. Comment 1. Get DNA for all 3 of you, just in case the hospital switched babies. Make sure she's yours as well. I know that sounds crazy, but it could happen. Use a different, reputable company, and don't tell them anything. Comment 2. It's also possible that the father could have chimerism, meaning he could have different DNA in his sperm cells than he does in the rest of his body. Rare, but possible. OP also posted an update. Hi everyone. First off, I wanted to thank everyone who reached out. My original post got so much attention. It was hard to get to everything, but I ended up making a list of plans and tests I wanted to get done. My husband was, understandably, distrustful of me for a while, but he apologized for the way he acted, which I didn't need, and said that he wouldn't try to kick me out of our home. He did say, though, that if every test came back and I'd cheated, then he was going to go scorched earth. We did a few tests, blood paternity tests, for him, for me, and for our daughter. And we had an appointment with a chimerism specialist coming up. But that got canceled because, well, some of you guessed it. But my daughter is not biologically mine either. I don't know how this happened, but a police officer came to our house and took our statements. And we're suing the hospital where I gave birth. I don't know what happened to my baby, and that is terrifying. I have my husband back. But my whole world was still upended, and I just wish he'd never taken that stupid test. I've been sleeping in my daughter's room, and I'm so afraid that she's going to be taken away from me. But at the same time, I want to know where my biological daughter is, and if she's okay. I pray to God she's okay. My daughter still doesn't know the details, and we've been trying to keep this quiet. The last thing we need is a big scandal. I don't want people who know us to look at her differently. She deserves better than that. She's such a good kid, and she's not some spectacle to be gawked at. If we can find her birth family, I have no idea what we'll do. I guess the best case scenario would be to get a bigger house and all live together. But I don't know if we can afford that, or if they'd go for that, or even if we'll be able to locate them, or if I'm just crazy. This whole situation is crazy. I don't know anyone else who's been in a situation like this. I mean, are there support groups for parents of kids who got mixed up? I Googled, and nothing came up. Literally all I'm getting are tabloid articles from trashy magazines that slap the faces of innocent kids on the same pages as celebrity sex scandals and fiction. How do we tell our daughter? I mean, we can't tell her now. She'll tell the kids at school, and then it'll be everywhere. But we have to say something. I don't know what I ever did to deserve this. TLDR, my daughter is not biologically mine, or my husband's. Final update from OP. My husband saw my post. He recognized the story because, well, of course he recognized the story. How could he not? This doesn't happen every day. Then he went on my account page and he found quite a few comments about him that were not exactly nice. And now he's asked me for a chance to post his side of the story on this account so that people stop trashing him. Please be nice. His words. So, I don't know how many of you have been down a self-doubt rabbit hole before, but it's not the most logical place to be. It's even less logical when you have the whole damn internet telling you that your wife is cheating and that she's planning to take the house, take you for all you're worth, and that she never really loved you. And then you always sort of thought she was too good for you anyway. So you end up seeing everything as a sign of infidelity, and then you get not one, but two failed paternity tests on your daughter. When COVID happened, I got fat. I got depressed. I stopped feeling like a person. My wife stayed beautiful. She stayed herself. I was sure that she'd made a mistake, that she'd regret being with me. I started getting into some online groups, especially on Reddit, that were full of guys who'd been cheated on, lost custody, lost everything. And when someone said that his tip-off was that he and his wife both had blue eyes, and their kid had brown, I felt effing stupid. I didn't want to jump to conclusions, but when I made a post about my fears, everyone said that she was cheating. People told me not to say anything because she'd use it to get ahead of me in the divorce. I got the test, and I didn't really think it'd come back negative, but then it did. I didn't want to believe it, but yeah, I pulled back. I felt betrayed. I wanted to be a good husband, but I couldn't shake it. I tried to find evidence of an affair, and I failed. I got another test. When that one was also negative, I snapped. If you've ever been cheated on, you know what that feels like. When my wife denied it, I got angrier. I just wanted her to leave. I didn't want to go through what everyone seemed to think was going to happen. I didn't want to lose custody of my kid. I didn't want to lose my house. I was scared and angry, and I just wanted the truth. I felt like if she couldn't even be honest, there was no getting past this. I took a few hours to calm down. When she came back with a list of tests to take, I tried to keep my cool. I tried to keep my cool for so long. I know I was wrong about the affair, but so was everyone else in my ear. My kid is genuinely not biologically mine. I didn't immediately consider that switched at birth was an option. I've been through a messed up time. I don't think getting angry one time because I thought my wife cheated and was lying about it makes me a monster. Hi, it's fully faithful wife here again. I just want to say, I agree he's not a monster, not an abuser, or anything of the sort. I do not agree that he's fat. I love this man very much, and I have for ages. And we are not going to let this situation break our marriage. Thank you to everyone for all your help. All right, let's take a breath, because not every relationship blows up in some dramatic, flaming mess. Sometimes it's quieter than that. Sometimes it's just slow, like waking up one day and realizing the person you love feels more like a roommate or a really polite coworker. And the worst part? You know something's wrong, but they keep saying everything's fine. Yeah, let's talk about that. My 32-year-old husband became a robot, and I don't know how to help him. I know. The title sounds insane, but here I go. We've been married for 6 years, and we have 2 kids, and I'm pregnant with a third. My husband works 9 to 5, comes home, does his chores, plays with our 2 kids, talks to me for a little bit, and then goes to sleep. But he doesn't seem to enjoy doing any of it. It's like this whole thing is just one big chore. He used to be this goofy guy who smiled and told jokes all the time. But I haven't seen the man smile in months. It's not like he's neglecting his duties as a husband and father, but he acts like it's just that duties. Like hanging out with the kids and with me is just a second job. I'm grateful for everything he's doing. He makes all of our lives so much easier. But it's like he's constantly on the clock, and I think he might be depressed. I tried asking him if he was doing okay, and he tells me he's doing fantastic. But I know he's not. That's the line he uses at work, when customers try to make small talk and ask how he's doing. He doesn't take any time for himself. He doesn't take any breaks. He stopped playing games. He stopped watching TV. He just does what I feel like he thinks needs to be done. And I don't know how to help him out. Even our sex life has become one-sided. We still do it frequently, but only because I initiate. Even if he doesn't seem in the mood, he'll still do it, like it's his responsibility to make me happy. But it feels like he isn't there in the moment, like his mind is wandering the whole time we're intimate. And that, to me, feels worse than getting rejected. I don't know what's going on, and I don't know how to help, because he won't let me in. To anybody else, he seems fine, but I know something is wrong, and I don't know how to fix this. I miss my husband, the guy who complained and told jokes, not this robotic shell that just looks like him. Edit. All right. Wow. I didn't expect this to blow up. I want to thank you all for your advice. I really appreciate it. It's clear to me now that my husband is overworked and burnt out. He comes home from work in a couple of hours, and I'm going to sit him down and talk to him. I'm going to tell him how I feel, and I hope that together we can find a solution that brings him back to the man he once was. Here's the update. I actually wrote this a couple days ago, but I couldn't post it because it was too soon. My husband came home around 6 o'clock, and after he ate, I took him to the bedroom to talk. I sat him down on the bed and told him I was worried about him. I didn't really know how to phrase my worries, so I just showed him my original post. When he finished reading it, he started crying, full-on crying. In all the years I've known this man, I had never seen a tear roll down his cheek. I held him for a few minutes until he could recompose himself, and then he told me everything. He told me that the world felt like it was in a crappy place right now, and that we were bringing a child into a stressful time. He said when I became pregnant, he felt like he had to step up, that he needed to take care of things because it was his responsibility. But the weight of carrying the family was so much harder than he expected. He thought if he just doubled down, he could push through it. But the more he tried, the darker the tunnel got. And eventually, he couldn't even see an end. He said he feels like he's constantly drowning, and the only breath of fresh air is the car ride between home and work. He admitted that sometimes the stress gets so bad, he actually throws up, but he never tells anyone. He just keeps going with his day. He even pulled a pack of gum out of his pocket and said, "This was for when it happens." I asked him why he never told me any of this, and he said he didn't want to burden me with the truth. He told me he was scared that if he told me everything, I would stop seeing him as a protector and a provider, and that I would eventually stop loving him. Hearing him say that brought tears to my eyes, because I honestly don't know where he ever got that idea. I asked him if he wanted to quit his job, but surprisingly, he said the job doesn't bother him. He said the work itself was fine. It's just that now he feels an added weight to provide, because not only was he fortunate enough to keep his job during the pandemic, but we also had another kid on the way. He admitted that some days he feels like packing a suitcase and running off to some tropical island for a week without telling anyone. But then he feels guilty and just doubles down even more. I told him maybe he should go on a trip. I said he deserved a break, and that maybe, if he did exactly that, he might actually feel better. He tried to protest, but I insisted. In the end, he said he'd only go if we went together, like a romantic getaway, just the two of us. So the plan is, once things clear up, and before the baby is due, he wants to take a week off from work, drop the kids off at grandma's house, and go on a vacation, just the two of us, like we used to when we first got married. He also said he wants to take the day off tomorrow and just sleep in, so that's the plan. I'll call his boss tomorrow and say that he's sick and can't come in. It's not like they'll make a sick man come into work. There's a pandemic going on after all. Right now, he's playing with the kids, and it doesn't feel like one of his chores. He actually seems to be enjoying himself. For the first time in months, I don't see the robot, I see my husband. Edit. Hey everyone. I just want to thank you all for the support. I read all of your comments, and I appreciate every single one of you. I didn't expect this to get so much traction. So I wanted to clarify a few things. First of all, my husband says hi about the chores. Since people are bringing that up, I just want to say, I know as a stay-at-home mom that the bulk of the chores falls to me. I cook, I clean, I do the laundry, because I know it's my responsibility. My husband's only chores are doing the dishes, vacuuming every 3 days, and a few other house maintenance things. The pregnancy wasn't an accident. We both wanted 3 kids. We were both raised in 3-kid families. We actively tried for the first 2. For baby number 3, it was kind of a if it happens kind of thing. We're both happy with the number of kids we have, and will have, and we're hopefully done. We realize that a 1-week vacation isn't enough to fix this. We're both working on finding a more sustainable solution to help alleviate his stress. Right now, we're thinking about setting up an hour or 2 a day. That's daddy's time. No kids, no me, no work, just him, relaxing. And to those of you who think this is fake, there's probably nothing I could say to change your mind. But I just hope you never go through something like this yourselves. You've all been so supportive, and really, just a wonderful bunch of people. I really think we're going to get through this, and it wouldn't have been possible without you all. Honestly, sometimes the biggest plot twist is just communication actually working. Who knew? All right, that's it for today's chaos. Roll the outro. Anyway, that's all I've got. Thanks for sticking around, or whatever. I'll catch you in the next one, unless I finally delete this app like I keep saying I will.